Hi everybody. Okay, I want to make a quick video because I told you sometimes I have more thoughts after I see the show, but it takes a while for me to like because what happens is I watch the shows, I make the videos, and then I get really busy. So then I have time to think about it, and then that's when I come back on here a little bit later and come up with some other thoughts that I wasn't thinking at the time. But once I've had a little time, I come up with some stuff. So also, tomorrow I might be a little bit late, depends on how it goes. Um, so please forgive me. I'll make the videos, I promise. I just have to do some other stuff. So uh, kind of sorry. Just in advance, maybe. Okay. So today's episode. Okay, focus on basically the big thing with Abbott's and Newman's and whatever. And then a side story was the relationship aspect for Billy and Sally and kind of Billy, and then Phyllis and Kane. Okay, so what I'm going to focus on in this video is the Kane and Phyllis aspect, and the whole thing with Kane. Okay, because I was thinking about it. And he came back to town and he's a billionaire, right? Okay, now, well, it depends on if you believe the whole thing about Victor took his money and basically Arabesque or whatever they call the company is no longer a company and whatever. If you believe that, then he doesn't have much. But also, I can't help but notice he still has a train. And apparently the trains like that cost a lot of money. So that means you have to have a lot of money to have one, right? So okay. So if he has money, let's go on the theory he has money. If he has all this money, can he fly back and forth to see Lily if they want to have a relationship? I mean, assuming they don't want to get married right away again and stuff. Assuming that, let's say they had a conversation and they had an open and honest conversation. And Lily said, I'm willing to give you another chance, but I really want to see our kids right now. Um, you know, I don't want you to come because I don't want them to get the wrong idea or whatever verbiage she would use here. But then you can come visit whenever you want, kind of thing, right? Okay, if he has all this money, then no matter where Lily is, he could come visit her, right? But then again, if she's supposed to be off screen, then that's not going to fly either because how are they going to have her off screen if she's on screen still? So I don't know. That doesn't fly. That was just a thought I had. But I still don't buy the relationship that it's a physical relationship between Phyllis and Kane. Now, hear me out. I know I have eyeballs. I saw what happened today. I'm not denying that. But I'm also not denying that Kane still might be using Phyllis to get whatever he wants out of her. And yes, he might want more information or whatever, but I just don't see the romance part of it. I don't. I thought I did. But then when he said, well, he's using you to get whatever information, that's not love. Because if it was love, then there would be no using one way or the other way. Love does not equal using. Okay? So, I don't know what this is. I guess if I was going to go high class, I could say it was a dalliance or something. That means a little affair, by the way. I learned that little terminology. But I don't know. If I had to put it in a category, that's the closest category I could find. Because I don't think there's a real connection there. Because it just doesn't feel like it. It just I don't know. I've seen on screen chemistry before. And at first I thought they had it, but the more and more interactions they have, I just feel like he's using her to get something else. And I'm not talking in a bad way. Okay, I'm just talking about like information, whatever, to make her feel like she's part of it. But then I feel like he's gonna yank it out from under her. You know, I don't know. I just have that feeling in my gut, and I always follow my gut. So that's my thoughts on that. I don't know. Let's see. If we're going down the couples lane here, um, Billy and Sally, I don't really know because okay, now granted, I'm all for the couple. I'm not against them. I'm just saying that I feel like Billy is gonna start lying to her again, or even not with lying. He's gonna start withholding stuff, and then it's gonna turn into lying because he's gonna withhold whatever information. Okay, she's gonna ask him about it, and he's not gonna tell her. So then that becomes a lie, and then it just is gonna be a lie on top of a lie on top of a lie, and then the relationship is gonna be kaput because Sally can call people on their BS, and she has, but he still, I don't feel like he's telling her everything because she said, "Why didn't you tell me?" And his answer just didn't satisfy me because I was like, huh? You guys are supposed to be like in this together. And why are you not telling her whatever it is? She can read you and she knows that you're different. And you're like, I'm not different. Yes, you are. You're different. Your whole thing changed. After you saw Phyllis and Kane, your whole demeanor, facial expression, everything changed. And she called you on it, and you said, "Oh, it's no big deal." I don't know. Might be in trouble in paradise. All I'm saying. Plus, Sally, I'm sorry to say, but Sally always ends up the loser. And I don't mean it because she's a loser. I'm saying because she picks guys that say they're like on their own and they're gonna do their own thing. And then they always end up picking someone else or going after their father or whatever. Like, okay, like Adam. Well, Adam and Sally, they did wrong anyway. But okay, Adam. He was too worried about what his father thought. And he lost her because he did what his daddy wanted. And he lost a great woman because of it. And then Billy, that might happen with Billy. And I don't know, just Sally doesn't. I don't know. Sally's not lucky in the love department. And I guess it's good, but I wish I could. Okay, here's what I wish for. I guess I'm thinking about this on the fly. I want them to write a character, a female, who's strong and doesn't really need a man, but has a man despite that. Like I'd like to see that story because the stories we see are, okay, the woman can take charge and she doesn't need a man. No, so she doesn't have a man for like 5 years, and then she finally finds a man, and something happens to that man, or she's been too wrapped up in her career and she doesn't have time for a man, but she doesn't need a man because she's one of those chicks. I don't want to see stories like that anymore. Where's the strong, but you kind of need a man too? Where's that girl? You know, I don't know where is she? I want to see that because we've seen too many of the other type. All right, bye guys.